Welcome back to the channel, everyone. AEW has defeated NXT in the Wednesday Night Wars, if by defeated we are only going by ratings alone. They have assumingly had the better rating. We still don't have a complete rating, but the signs are there that they have won, and I'm going to say by a good margin, because there's only certain demographics out right now, and there's certain markets that don't have the full rating out yet, but Meltzer is speculating right now that it will be somewhere between a 1.5 and a 1.7.
Well, if Meltzer says that happened, then you know what happened.
Right.
Because he is, perfect when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah, but it's like a thing here, we're doing projections and not really, rumor.
Yeah.
So I don't know how accurate it'll be, but I'm going to say it's going to be somewhere around there. On
that note, I'm going to flip it, though. And I'm going to tell you that, well, not you, but I'm going to tell them that while ratings-wise AEW might have got better, I don't think the show was better.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. But as far as NXT goes, I haven't really seen enough to know what they fully did. But I'm going to assume that AEW was at least 0.5 better.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to assume. We don't have an official number. By the time this is up on the channel, there probably will be.
Yeah, of course.
But
it'll probably be out right after we get done recording.
Probably. But we're just going to go with AEW won the ratings.
Okay.
And that's what we know right now. So, with that being said, we'll talk about what that means first, and then we'll get into just talking about AEW, and I might talk a little bit about NXT, because I didn't even review it, but I watched it.
Oh, really? But you watched it?
I did. Wow. I watched it right after I did the AEW review last night.
Oh, okay.
But WWE themselves released a statement on this, which was surprising. This just popped up a minute ago before I...
Oh, this is what you read to me.
Yeah. So, the WWE themselves, basically, they congratulated AEW. They said, the real winners here are the fans. But the closing statement was that, as far as this ratings war, it is a marathon, not a sprint.
And that's a giveaway that WWE lost.
Yeah.
To me.
Definitely. They wouldn't say that if they won.
No.
So, it's a true thing to say. It is a marathon and not a sprint.
Because if they would have won, they would have gave something like, good luck on your future endeavors.
Yeah, or just not said anything.
Yeah.
But, going into what it means, where this could lead to, I'm not... Because I think that this could be a situation where AEW starts off with that big number and it drips down a little bit.
Because people are curious at first. And then once it gets going and you start seeing, hopefully not, but you start seeing the same people every week, the same kind of matches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully it won't be like that, because we already get that twice a week, or 3 times a week with WWE.
Well, with them only having a 2-hour show and having such a big roster, I think it'll be impossible to see the same people every week.
And that's good.
But I do think the big thing is that they may have gotten this big rating, but what did they do to engage those viewers?
I was not engaged.
Yeah, so...
And I sat and I actually watched the whole thing. The only thing I skipped were any kind of promos or a lot of the entrances. Mm-hmm. Because I don't care about people walking to the ring. I'd look at their graphics and when it came up, and then as they started walking the ramp, I just skipped forward a few seconds.
Okay. Well, I hope you didn't skip Scorpio Sky's Barack Obama impression.
No.
Okay, you saw that.
I did see that.
Because I know you skipped through some of that stuff.
I do. But every time I see Scorpio, the name Scorpio, it makes me think Too Cold Scorpio from the old days.
Yeah.
And I know it's not the same guy, but it just makes me think, cool, I need to watch it.
Yeah. So, going into this show, and this is going to be because if you want a full breakdown and play-by-play review of things, I have that on the channel from last night. But this is going to be just a more conversational thing. We're going to assume that everyone watching this knows what happens. but at this point.
And spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about things that way. So,
and I'm going to kick it off with a question.
Okay.
Are you surprised 1 ounce a bit that Cody Rhodes started it all? The show.
Well, they announced it beforehand that he was going. That was going to be the first match.
But are you surprised at all that he was the first one and not the main event?
No.
I'm not either. Because it's his show, first one ever, you want to be out there.
So the other thing with it is that they started off the first 25 minutes with no commercials.
Yeah, it was a while.
So that was the entirety of Cody's match. Which we can get
match of the night.
Yeah, we can get into whether or not that's preferential treatment or not, that he didn't have to deal with any commercials.
Or it could just be a premiere thing.
Yeah, because NXT did the same thing. Their first 30 minutes was no commercials.
But AEW did the extras during commercials. The split screen.
Yeah, NXT also did that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't watch NXT, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, the other things that were done... There were a few tactics that could have been used in the Monday Night Wars that were used tonight, and NXT did that first with the overrun.
Yeah.
During the tag team title match, which they main evented with the Street Profits versus Undisputed Era for the tag titles.
Street Profits lose?
Yes, they did.
I figured they were going to, because I think they're going to get called up.
I would assume
that's
so.
I think that's why they've been on TV on Raw. And
yeah,
stuff.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Eventually, they might actually wrestle there.
But you never know. We got main roster stars going back to NXT.
Yeah, but that was a great match, and basically what they did was just, as it's going into the 2-hour mark, the Mauro Ranallo just says that as long we're going to stay on air until this match has a finish.
They used to do that back in the day, too.
Yeah, so it had the finish, and it ended with the big shock of Tommaso Ciampa coming back and staring down Adam Cole.
Okay, I saw that clip. Is he actually cleared to wrestle?
If he's not yet, it'll be something that they set up, and they'll do the match later.
But he should be close then.
Yeah, and Finn Balor returned in the beginning portion of the show.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, I just saw it up there.
Yeah. So... Adam Cole possibly has 2 challengers with Balor and Tommaso Ciampa. They had a great match with Riddle and Cole, which opened the show.
Now,
and all that.
Now that NXT is on, I'm going to say a main roster show because it's on TV.
Yeah.
Is there any bump in pay to get called up to Raw or SmackDown? Because what's the difference now? Raw and SmackDown
traveling more, I'm sure, doing more shows.
But doesn't NXT, aren't they going to be traveling too?
They do a little bit, but not as much as Raw and SmackDown do.
Okay, so it'll probably be more of a pay bump and more coverage.
Yeah,
more TV time.
I would think so. But hopefully they're getting paid more now than what they were.
Well, I heard they were going to get a bump because they were going to TV.
Yeah,
that's what I read.
You would think so.
Yeah,
but who knows?
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't mind getting one of them paychecks though.
Going into the AEW show, the start of this show was hot as possible. And I was ready for the whole show to be like that, because the first 30 minutes of this show kicked ass.
Mm-hmm.
The Sammy and Cody match was awesome.
I didn't know who the Sammy guy was, but yeah, it was a great match.
Yeah, they did a great job because they did the whole thing on the road to TNT that they do on YouTube, which really... told the story that they're going for with Cody and Sammy, that Sammy is the underdog that Cody could be overlooking because he has the title match, and him being the executive vice president and all that.
See, they set it up all on YouTube, so I didn't follow it.
But they did show portions of it before the match, and a little 2 to 3 minute clip.
Yeah, the stuff I went fast forward through.
Well, see, that's your fault then.
I know. But you have to look what I'm used to seeing.
Right. I think it's an interesting take, though, because the normal underdog overlooking sort of thing is a babyface thing, but Sammy was the heel here.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. I actually liked that. It adds more, levels.
It's almost like, to me, it feels like the Dolph Ziggler should have been me kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah. Just like the underdog, but heel.
Yeah.
Kind of should have been me doing that, not you.
Yeah, it didn't go to that territory quite.
No, but just, to me, that's what it made me think of.
Right. The only thing I didn't like about this match is that Cody tried to cheat to win when Brandy came in with the cheap shot.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough, she got taken out by the dive when Sammy pulled her in the way.
I'm glad that they're not afraid to let a female wrestler get hit by a man.
Yeah, they're not going to do any wrestling matches between male and female.
But
it doesn't seem.
I'm glad they're not so scared of, we can't hit a woman. It's just not PC.
Yeah. WWE, they can only do that on pay-per-view shows.
Certain occasions, yeah.
Yeah. So, other than that, though, this match was awesome. I predicted that Sammy Guevara would win in like an upset win to sort of kick things off. But Cody ends up winning with... Sammy went for a shooting star press, got the knees up, did an inside cradle.
Yeah.
So, to your love, the first match ended in a roll-up.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the match was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was great.
And I thought the addition of Tony Schiavone in this commentary crew, I thought he was the perfect bridge between JR and Excalibur that really put this commentary team the best that it's been since they've been doing this.
I have to agree now. I don't know much about Excalibur. Except what I've heard, the last few shows.
Yeah.
And he's been great.
Yeah, he's been really good.
JR, I think he's almost getting too old for it, because it's like he just can't keep up with it.
Yeah, there's been some sort of... I think it's like possibly a bit of a lack of chemistry that JR had with Alex Marvez that was on commentary, and then between them and Excalibur.
And that could just be a chemistry thing that they have to build.
But JR was nowhere near as bad with Tony Schiavone there.
No, he was great with Tony.
The only thing that JR always does is that he likes to point out that people aren't pinning people correctly.
Yeah.
He's not putting his full body weight on his shoulders, god damn it.
And I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Because they're commentators. They're supposed to be commentating on what's happening in the ring and educating the people watching at home.
Yeah.
Unlike the E, where they talk about everything but the match going on.
Right.
I like how they're talking about what's going on in the ring, what moves they're actually doing, how they're doing it right or wrong. I actually enjoy that.
Yeah. The only thing that JR did in the last shows that was always annoying was that when he didn't like something, it was very apparent.
Yeah.
And I can't even blame JR for this, because a lot of the time it's the stuff in the ring's fault. That, with the tag matches and stuff, he would just point out how none of this makes sense. How is this not a disqualification?
But I have to agree, because 10 seconds in the ring with when you tag your partner.
Yeah, but in a lot of those, they don't even tag in. They just
come in.
They just get in the ring and do stuff.
And I see his point, but even if it's a tag, 10 seconds is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In real time. So I mean, I agree with that. I don't like it. I've made that clear on other shows.
Yeah.
But I see his point.
Right. It just...
Especially just coming in with no tag.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, though, because he's put in that situation where he seems like the grumpy old guy.
Well, he is the grumpy old guy.
Right.
Why not play to your strengths?
Yeah. After Cody won, Chris Jericho came out and blindsided him and beat him up forever during a commercial break.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it kept going through the whole commercial and then some.
And nobody came out to help the executive vice president.
I know! Not even Omega.
Nobody. Alright, so let's talk about where things started to go bad, which was immediately after this match.
Right after that match?
Yeah. MJF versus Brendan Cutler.
Him on the mic sucks. MJF. I do not like
What?
I do not like... It might just be that what he did last night, but I didn't like it.
That's the best thing about MJF.
I like him in the ring, and I don't usually take the side of a heel. Just because I don't like the dirtiness of it. But I like him as a heel in the ring. Stay off the mic.
I couldn't disagree with that more.
Hey, that's what we're here for, though.
I think MJF is such a heat magnet. He's so great.
I think he's good. He reminds me of a young Miz.
Yeah.
That's exactly who he reminds me of.
He's, like, turned up, though, because... Yeah. Like, he'll make fun of people for being virgins or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he's a young Miz on, like, cranked up.
Yeah.
Which, it's cool, but I just didn't like what he did last night.
It wasn't, like, a long promo. He just basically said, Brendan Cutler is like, everyone here, you're all losers.
Yeah.
And then it went to the match.
And it's just like, that's the cheapest heat that you could get.
Yeah.
And that's something that WWE would do.
Do you know about the Dungeons and Dragons thing that went into this?
No.
So, I guess part of Brendan Cutler's thing is that he plays Dungeons and Dragons. But MJF, a while back, posted like a picture of himself and just said, I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. And that sparked a lot of heat towards MJF, believe it or not, from the Dungeons and Dragons community.
Well, I mean, there's a lot out there that play.
Yeah.
But, they're like closet gamers. They're not very well known.
Right. And I've never played it, but...
I haven't either. My brother used to way, way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Yeah, but there's definitely a vocal portion of people that do.
Yeah, well, it's grown since, I was around it.
Yeah.
As a kid.
So that was, like, the big thing that MJF had going into this. I was hoping they might capitalize on that, like, MJF, like, finds, like, some fans, and he's like, hey, I was wrong, I wanna learn how to play this game, and then just, like, he ends up, like, flipping the board over and calling them geeks, or something like that. But...
That'd be something interesting.
Yeah, this match... How long did this go? Like, maybe less than 5 minutes?
Something like that.
Right when I thought it was going to pick up, Cutler hits a nice dive, and it was a really good dive, too, because he just lands on top of him and starts throwing punches at him. But then he throws MJF back in the ring. He gets on the top rope, and he does that thing that guys do, like, when they're in a crouch position on the top rope, and they slowly rise up. But he slips.
Yeah.
And... I don't know what the plan was, but I'm assuming that this was a botch, and that he slipped, and then after that he tried to salvage it by selling his knee. Mm-hmm. Because, I'll give him credit for that, he at least tried to put it into the story of the match that he hurt his knee.
Yeah.
But then right after that, MJF just puts him in an armbar, and he taps out.
Yeah,
So if I were MJF there, I would have called an audible and put like a knee bar or something on.
Yeah, or figure four, something to go after the knee to make it look more legit.
But this just felt like, we fucked up. We got to get out of here.
That's exactly what it looked like.
But I have to imagine that it was planned to go around that same time because they just went straight into the finish. Mm-hmm. So what were they going to do? I think it was... Was he going to miss, like, a top rope move and then go into the armbar?
I think that's exactly what was going to happen. MJF was either going to move or reverse whatever he was going to do into the armbar, and that was going to be it.
Yeah. So
I don't think it really messed up anything. I think we might have missed one move that was going to be missed anyway.
Yeah. But this does bring in, like, a concern that I kind of have, is that AEW is focusing this around, promoting matches, and they're going to have weekly matches. But on this show, I don't know how many matches they had, but when you have a certain amount, then, especially with, like, the Cody and Sammy match that's going to go 25 minutes.
That takes up a quarter of your time.
Yeah, then you have to have, if you're going to have more matches, some of them are going to get the short end of the stick. Yeah. And this definitely had that. And by the looks of it, I don't think it might have been much better if they had more time.
I don't think so. It just wasn't a good chemistry between the two.
Yeah, but MJF wins, which I guess is the right decision. You keep his heat going.
Yeah, for now.
So we'll see where that goes. But after that was the Pac versus Hangman Page match. What did you think of this? Because I thought it wasn't as good as it could have been.
I was expecting more.
Because
I was also thinking more of, I was looking for a pay-per-view type of match.
Right, and maybe that's
because I was looking at it. Okay, this is a debut of AEW on TV. You've been proud of this. You've been putting it online and on TV for weeks and months. Why would you not pull out a pay-per-view style show.
Right.
That's what I would have done, and that's what I was expecting.
And with these are two of the top guys, because Hangman was just in the title match.
Yeah.
And Pac just beat Kenny Omega. So I figured that it was going to be a big showing, and it was a good match. I don't want to take that away from it, but it never really got out of second gear.
Yeah.
It never got to that next level.
Yeah, I mean, it was good for what it was.
Yeah, and Pac ends up winning with like a low blow with the ref distracted, and then
the mule kick.
Yeah. And then he hit, I guess it's called the Black Arrow now, and then the Rings of Saturn. And I don't think Page tapped out. He was passed out, right?
No, I think he tapped.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think he tapped.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know which one it was, but it ended pretty quickly after he got the submission on.
Yeah. I don't know if I still have it on here or not.
It's not much of a point, but we'll just say he tapped out. So,
yeah, I don't have it anyway.
I think that this was just there to build to another rematch, and I think this was what WWE would do in a cop-out finish sort of way.
Yeah.
So I think that took away from it. I think we'll get a rematch possibly at the next pay-per-view.
Alright, I'd be okay with that, as long as it's a pay-per-view style match.
Yeah, but then my point is that you should have done something different here and build to that match without giving it away. Even though they didn't give away everything that they could do, but they could have built this to a pay-per-view match and done something else here.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, so then we have the one that really just went from underwhelming to just me being pissed off.
Which one?
The Nyla Rose versus Riho match.
Oh my god.
For one, why the hell was that belt so small? Did you see that thing?
I didn't pay attention.
That belt, that championship, was like one of the action figure title belts.
So it was made for Riho.
Yes, and
because she's about as big as an action figure.
Like, I didn't put it together at the time, but I was just like, why the hell is that so small? And now it makes sense that they probably did it just so Riho could win. And
I mean, but then again, you have to look at the regular women's title. Nia Jax can't fit in it in WWE.
Yeah, but this thing was ridiculously tiny.
Okay. I didn't pay attention to it.
Like, it would have been an ankle bracelet for Nyla Rose.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a dead giveaway. Who's going to win?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that at the time. I was just like, why does that look like that?
Yeah, I didn't pay attention.
After she won. Because even at that point, I was still like, there's no way Riho's going to win.
She shouldn't have, honestly.
But we'll get into that. So, this match was insulting to me. And most of it was good. I thought Nyla and Riho really worked hard, and they did a good job together. I'll give them all the credit in the world.
Absolutely.
But the things that I don't know whose idea it was or why it happened, but Nyla Rose getting a chair and swinging it at Riho in a championship match where she is not the champion.
Yeah, where she can get disqualified.
And with there not being a champion and no champion's advantage, Riho would have just won the title.
Yeah.
It made Nyla look so stupid.
Yeah, it was a stupid move.
And the ref takes the chair out of her hands. And so Nyla's next instinct is to get like 5 more chairs.
Yeah.
Put them in a bundle together.
On the floor.
And then sit Riho on top of it. And then go to the apron and do a swanton with Riho getting out of the way and splatting on the chairs herself.
And I'm sorry, it took her like 20 minutes to get ready, so it was no surprise that
this is where it gets insulting to me. Nyla Rose is at least twice the pounds as Riho is.
Probably more than that.
Probably more.
They said Riho was only like 98 pounds.
So why the hell is she gonna try a swanton bomb or anything on the top rope or anything jumping?
They'd have to get sponges out to clean up Riho. I mean, they would.
Clean up on aisle 5, man.
And 6. Yeah. Because it's splattered.
Yeah, like, it just makes her look so stupid. Like, it's like when Braun Strowman climbs the top rope. Which almost never happens.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only worked, like once?
Yeah, so I don't...
like Ric Flair. It's only worked like once in his career.
In a different way.
Yeah.
But I don't know why, for one, it wasn't a disqualification either. That even though...
why would it be?
Well,
technically she didn't use the chairs.
She still put her on top of them and attempted to use them.
That's true, but she didn't technically have them in her hand to use them as a weapon.
I guess.
That's the only thing I could think of why it wouldn't be. And that's what popped in my head when it happened. It's like, well, all those chairs, that should be a disqualification, but she's not holding any of them.
Yeah, even without that, though, it just made Nyla look like an idiot.
But, I mean, wouldn't that be the same, like, with the E, just using the announce tables during a match and not getting disqualified?
I feel like that's accepted, though.
But it's the same thing.
Chairs aren't.
But tables, chairs, ladders, it don't matter.
You're not allowed to pull a table out from under the ring and use it, but you can use the announce table.
But how is that right? Oh, but wait, because the ones on the side of the ring side are breakaway tables.
Right. Yeah, this just really... And Rio ends up winning with a running knee or whatever.
Which was stupid. The way she won, I didn't like it. I honestly think Nyla Rose should have won.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have a real women's champion to start your show going forward, you want to have a competitor that can take on all comers. And Rio just isn't that person.
Yeah, I don't know where they go from here.
I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, what's next for her?
I mean, she could have more matches with Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Baker.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to do Nyla versus Britt, and... Well, they still have
Britt was out there for that match, doesn't she?
Yeah, she was on commentary.
Yeah, isn't she going against Rio?
It hasn't been said.
Because, well, they were talking about she was out there, she was able to watch both of them, to do homework, or to scout them.
Well, it hasn't been said that she's like a number one contender or whatever.
Okay, I just took it as she was going to face the winner.
Yeah, she probably will end up doing that.
Probably
but
next pay-per-view.
Maybe.
They'll build up to it.
But they also built something in the last show with Britt versus Bea Priestley, so I don't know if they're going to do something there or if she's just going to go straight to the title match.
I don't know.
But if they were going to do... It would have made more sense to do Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose, to have Nyla as the dominating heel and then Britt the babyface there.
Yeah.
But now it'll be Britt Baker who will like tower over Riho.
And I mean,
both of them will be faces, I guess.
And Rio didn't really have that much of a backing from the crowd that I could tell.
Yeah, I don't really know how much the crowd was into this.
I mean, they didn't look like they were into the match hardly at all.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
But much. I mean, what little bit of pop she got, but I mean, she got a little one.
There was a good pop for when she did the Northern Lights off the top rope.
But I mean, anytime you do a big move,
yeah, that was more of an ooh sort of thing.
Yeah, especially when you got a little person and a big person, and you're suplexing them off the top rope. Yeah, you're gonna get a little pop.
Yeah,
that's the normal. But I mean, there wasn't anything.
Yeah, I just thought this was so damaging because Nyla is now 1-3 in her matches, and she already got beaten by Riho in the triple threat a couple months ago when it was her and Shida. Riho rolled her up.
Yeah, and so, if wins and losses count like they kept saying they do,
the only thing Nyla's won is that Battle Royal.
Yeah, and that you really can't even count that as a match.
Yeah.
So to me, she's really 0-3.
Yeah, I think they've really killed her.
They really have, unless they have a plan to bring her back up a certain way. I think you're right. They just killed her character.
Yeah, but we'll see. I don't really know where you go with Riho as the champion, and I can't really think. Like, they don't have a lot of depth in their women's division. Like, they've got quite a bit. We just don't see them. Yeah, I mean, like, you think of the Battle Royal, a lot of those were one-offs.
That's true.
But you have
Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong is more of
special
a
occasion.
Manager sort of thing with Brandy Rhodes.
And a special occasion type get in the ring.
Yeah, then there's Brandy. Aja Kong, I guess, is...
That's one.
She hasn't been back yet, but they kind of set up something with her and Awesome Kong. And then other than that, you have Britt Baker, who I think is very good.
Yeah, and she was the first female signee to AEW.
Yeah. But as far as, like, who she can go against, And especially since Kylie Ray is gone. She was one of the more talented ones, too.
Yeah.
And now it just feels like there's a lot of unknown there.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
But it might just be because it's a new company. We don't have enough information from everybody, like who's on the roster, how many females, how many males.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but crappy match. Good match, but crappy.
Right, it was good and bad at the same time.
Like a train wreck. You know, you want to look away, but you can't.
I see. So this ended with the 6-man main event. It was going to be... I'm glad that they did this, because originally it was Chris Jericho and 2 mystery opponents.
Oh.
And they did not hold the mystery stipulation until the match itself. They revealed it the day before, I think, Chris Jericho did.
Okay, because I knew in the graphic in the very beginning, when they were going the rundown of the matches, they showed who it was.
Yeah, I'm glad they did, because everyone expected that it was going to be LAX.
Yeah.
So if they would have just held the suspense and then just did what everyone was expecting, it would have been disappointing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they didn't do that. Right away, like early on in this match, Kenny Omega, I guess he's eventually going to go for a dive after he's done posing. But Jon Moxley comes in. Moxley takes out Omega. He ends up DDTing him through a glass coffee table.
Which was awesome.
That was wicked.
I mean, it made my head hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt glass in my head.
I think Moxley took most of the brunt of that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think Omega's head actually even touched it. Like, I feel bad for Moxley's back more.
Yeah, his back's what did it. It broke the table in glass.
Yeah.
It just, Omega just played it off well.
Right. And somehow, someone interfering and attacking a member of a team is not a disqualification.
Of course not.
Am I the only one who gives a shit about the rules?
Well, I do, and I wish it was a disqualification, because it should have been.
So here's what I mentioned, is that I don't know why you couldn't just do this before the match.
Or after.
Or, well, maybe, but I think the goal was to do the 2-on-3. So if you really wanted to do the 2-on-3 and protect the Bucks in a loss because they're at the disadvantage, you could have done you could have done this same exact thing, but they call it a DQ. But then the Young Bucks just say, well, we're not going to end our first show like that. We'll take you guys on 2-on-3, and then you go from there, and it makes sense.
Or just catch him on his way to the ring before the match starts, whoop his ass, and then they start the match at 2-on-3.
Yes, but this. We talk all the time about WWE insulting their audience's intelligence. This was insulting. And
very much so.
It could have been easily avoided, and they could have done the same thing.
Yeah.
With a different way to get there.
Just different timing.
But we get into... Because Jericho ends up beating one of the Bucks with the Judas effect.
Yeah.
And then that's where things break down. We start a beatdown. Cody runs in. Because Cody couldn't run in to be their partner or anything, but he'll run in to save them.
After the match.
Even though they didn't save him earlier.
Yeah, no shit. He got his ass whooped.
But Cody runs in, then Sammy Guevara runs in, kicks Cody in the dick. Dustin runs in to protect his half-brother's balls, to defend their honor. But then as Dustin is clearing house, we get the big debut of Jake Hager, a.k.a. Jack Swagger.
Yes.
Or FKA, I guess.
FKA.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because, I liked him in WWE.
Yeah.
But I think the new attitude he's got now is going to help him.
Right.
Since I saw him last.
Yeah, I agree.
So, it was interesting. It took me a second to figure out who it was, because he had the beard going on.
Yeah. And he had, like, a collared shirt on.
Yeah, it was.
That was different.
Yeah, he wasn't in his wrestling gear.
So, Hager comes in, he takes everyone out, and the closing angle is just all 5 of those guys standing tall together, which is what I'm assuming is a new faction?
Is it the Bulletless Club?
the New World Order?
The New World Order.
The NNWO?
Yeah. Now, one part we did skip, because that was the last match.
Yeah.
The one part we skipped was when like Omega came out. That was the Riho match, wasn't it?
Right, I forgot about that.
When
Omega
Nyla Rose went off.
Yeah, Nyla Rose attacked Riho and Michael Nakazawa, who was out there for whatever fucking reason.
I guess going to do an interview with Riho.
Yeah, then she almost dropped Nakazawa on his head.
Yeah.
But Omega came out and fended off Riho, because the whole thing is that Omega is the one that's in charge of, like, the women's division, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And
I was wondering, I thought it was just because he was a bigwig in the company.
No, he recruited the Joshi girls, and I guess they have something together.
Okay.
But that was the whole deal with that.
Okay. I mean, it was cool that, they came out and stopped it, but what took so long?
Right. And why'd they stop that, but not the Cody thing?
Yeah. What, do you not like Cody?
Other than that, though, we'll get into the closing thing. Do you think this is going to be a faction or a one-time thing?
I think it's more of a one-time thing. Just, I'm not going to say none of them will be together, but I'm not going to go out and say all 5 of them will be.
Yeah. If it is,
Maybe
I think
3 of them.
Yeah, I could see them doing all 5 of them as a faction, though.
I could for like a Survivor Series type of match.
I think the thing with that is that if they do that, I think eventually Hager, if he's really going to be this big thing in AEW, that eventually he'll have to be, because Jericho is the leader of this.
Oh yeah.
So I would think eventually Hager goes out on his own.
But Jericho's such a part-timer. He's not full-time. And I guess he could be, because they are able to go to New Japan under AEW.
Yeah.
So I guess
or at least he is.
Yeah. So I guess he could be full-time. I don't think he is, though.
Yeah. Who knows, but
he's the Brock Lesnar of AEW.
Well, he already had a match on TV.
Yeah, so that's it till Christmas.
But the thing is, even the full-time guys, they aren't going to have to wrestle all that much.
Yeah.
So he could be considered quote-unquote full-time, but
sure.
I think Hager was someone I think this roster really needed, because they don't have a lot of guys with the stature and size that Hager does.
I mean, you've got Moxley, who has the name, and people know who he is, but you got Hager with the size.
Yeah.
And people know who he is.
And the legitimate fighting background.
Yeah.
So I think he's a good guy to have. I don't know what his ceiling is. I don't know if they'll see him as a champion eventually.
I would hope so.
But going from what we saw Jack Swagger in WWE, I mean that's the appeal, is that you can be such a bigger deal in AEW. Because in WWE, Jack Swagger, especially towards the end, was just another guy.
Well, that's because his manager was an old guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I don't even remember his name.
Zeb Coulter.
That's
man.
it.
Zeb Coulter's been around forever.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of his name. But
Dutch Mantel.
To me, I think as soon as they hooked him up with Swagger, that ended Swagger.
Eventually. But
yeah, not right away, but I think that's what started it.
And then, they had Cesaro, I think, was in it too.
Yeah.
Was Del Rio in it too?
I
feel like he was.
It's possible.
I don't remember, but
I think you're right. I think he might have been, at least briefly.
Yeah. But not relevant.
No.
This was at least a good closing angle.
Yeah.
But I thought everything from in between the last 2 minutes of this show to after the Sammy and Cody match was really underwhelming.
Yeah, I can only give this maybe a C.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And just to address it, the video I did after the show was the review, and for one, it's just trying to be different, that I put out the all-hype wrestling logo and just said that they didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah. And
instantly, it just got thumbs downs. But
it's true, though. We both watched it. We both have watched all the pay-per-views building up to this.
Yeah.
We've all seen and heard the hype about it, but it did not live up to it after the first match.
Yeah. And that's not to say that we don't want it to.
Oh, no, of course we want it to.
And
I've been looking for an alternative to the other promotion.
And it's also not to say that they won't going forward.
No, I mean, it could have just been a bad show.
Yeah. But I think that's all we're going to do for this one. We've went like 40 minutes, so.
Oh, wow.
Closing thoughts. Next week we'll have the tag team tournament starting, I believe.
About damn time.
So we'll probably have some good matches to look forward to with that.
Yeah. And that's why we didn't see a lot of people, is because they're in the tag tournament.
Yeah. But we will be back for that next week. And until next time, later.